Talking with the experts.
Know who you are, conduct business with a clear mind and build up your confidence. ReGina Smithwick tells us all about it in episode 308.
But don't it come effortlessly, like easy and effortlessly, right? When you're in line with who you are, things flow to you very easily and effortlessly. It's not like a lot of tug of pull. A lot of times we do a lot of resistance because it's not really where we need to be, or we're not where we need to, or we're not where we need to be at that time. And we are trying to be, it's like a lot of resistance. But when you know what you know, and when you're right at the place you need to be, it flows. Even if, like I tell people, life, okay, yeah, law of attraction and everything, yes. But there's going to be valleys in your life, okay? But those valleys are your lessons. You have to have lessons to build character and to build who you are. So when you learn who you are, that's just the beginning.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts. This is where we discuss great ideas to take your business to the next level. How do we know these ideas work? Well, it's because we're talking with business owners who are using these ideas. Business owners who have years of experience and expertise. All things business by business owners for business owners. And now, here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. You can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And today it's my very great pleasure to introduce you to ReGina Smithwick. And we're going to be talking about wringing out your sponge and how to build up confidence and to conduct business with a really clear mind. ReGina is from the US and she is a certified life coach. She is also the creator and producer of talk show and podcast Let's Talk 1943. In addition, she's a motivational speaker and author of Adoption, The Unknown Blessing. She often publishes many self-help journals, which you can purchase on Amazon. ReGina, thank you so much for joining me today. It's looking forward to discussing, wringing out your sponge.
Yes. Thank you for allowing me to be on your platform today, Rose. I really appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
So I guess tell me how you came up with wringing out your sponge. It's quite a unique story, really.
Yeah, it was actually a mistake. I mean, not a mistake, it was just a fluke, I guess you want to call it. I was doing my talk show, and I used it as a to ascribe something that I was trying to explain to my audience. And my co-host said, "Wait a minute, what you just say?" I said, I mentioned something else. She said, no, what you said before that? I said, "Wring out your sponge." She's like, "Wait a minute, do you understand what you just said?" It's like, that's like a hashtag, that's like a t-shirt, that's something. You got to do something with that. Like, who uses that analogy to wring out your sponge, meaning to wring out all your insecurities, all your old processes, your belief systems, and to absorb new ideas and new processes and new belief systems? You got to wring out the old, because if you use a sponge that's oversaturated, what happens? Water rolls over it. You can't absorb no information. You got to wring all that out for you to absorb new and to receive. So that's what the concept was for wringing out your sponge.
Yeah, it's a really good analogy too, because we don't often wring out our sponge. We just keep things built up inside of us, and and we don't often let all those things go, and then they manifest into all sorts of horrible diseases and mental illnesses and insecurities. So yeah, it's a really good analogy. Why is it important for business owners to know who they are, and and so that they can, is it to conduct their business with a clear mind, or is it some other reason?
No, actually, to do anything in life, you have to know who you are, period, point blank, the end. You have to know who you are. And that right there will solve a lot of your issues, or a lot of things that probably is not connecting in your life, is because you don't know who you are. I always ask people, who are you? And they'll just look at you and just blink. They're like, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a mother. I didn't ask you your titles. I asked you, who are you? And if you can't tell me that in less than about 30 seconds, then you need some work. You need to go talk to someone, because how can you conduct life? Like a lot of times what we do, we put our cart in front of our horses all the time, right? We doing all this stuff, but we don't have no, like, where's the origin from? Where's the foundation of this? Where is this coming from? So you kind of doing things on a broken foundation or a wobbly foundation. When everything keeps falling and crashing, you going, I worked so hard, I did this and that, but you're not doing it from a strong foundation. You don't even know who you are. So how can you run a business? And how can you have a mission statement or a model or whatever you have, and you can't even have one for yourself, but you have one for your business? So that tells you that you need to work on you before you open up any kind of business, because that's going to be the flow. When you know who you are, your business is going to follow. Your funds, your abundance is going to follow it. You're doing it backwards. You're trying to get the money and then you want to get a business. No, you got to do you first. Then you know your purpose. Then the money will flow behind it. And I had to learn that. That's not something I didn't know. I had to learn.
Yeah, I think something that we all need to learn, and quite often, as being a parent or a business owner, you lose who you are because you're so focused on others, predominantly. So
Yes.
it is important to know who you are, and it's taken me a long time to find out who I am, not a title, but who I am deep down, and what I can offer the world, and
Mhm.
and I've been able, manifesting stuff, and I know you're into the law of attraction and
Yes.
manifesting and all of those wonderful things, and through finding out who I am deep down and who I want to be,
Mhm.
yeah, I've been able to manifest a lot of great things in my life just lately, and it's been quite enlightening and fulfilling, actually. It's such a great
Right.
thing.
But don't it come effortlessly, like easy and effortlessly, right? When you're in line with who you are, things flow to you very easily and effortlessly. It's not like a lot of tug of pull. A lot of times we do a lot of resistance because it's not really where we need to be, or we're not where we need to, or we're not where we need to be at that time. And we are trying to be, it's like a lot of resistance. But when you know what you know, and when you're right at the place you need to be, it flows. Even if, like I tell people, life, okay, yeah, law of attraction, everything, yes, but there's going to be valleys in your life, okay? But those valleys are your lessons. You have to have lessons to build, and to build character, and to build who you are. So when you learn who you are, that's just the beginning. You're going to go through things because that's called growth. But those are lessons when you got to change your mindset and go, okay, what just happened? I lost this, I did that, whatever. What's the lesson I'm supposed to learn from this? That's how you got to think about it. Not go, oh, woe is me. Oh, my business, this happened. No, 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 no. It was supposed to happen. Divine order. Why? Now you need to figure out why it happened and learn the lesson so you won't repeat it, and you'll grow from that valley. I think a lot of us see it as like, oh my gosh, this happened to me. Like, no, it's not a bad thing. Nothing's bad or good. It's just things that has to happen.
Yeah, well, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, doesn't it?
There you go.
Mhm.
There you go. That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
and the people think that things happen to them, have got it all back to front.
And that's why they always have this kind of analogy of, oh, woe is me, and a pity party, and I'm the victim, and this is not working out. No, it is working out because it's working through. It's like breakthroughs happen all the time. You got to go through those valleys to get those breakthroughs. But a lot of times, don't you notice that things like that happen right before your breakthrough?
Yes,
Like
yes.
right before your breakthrough, something happens. And then that's where your life lesson goes, right? So because you got to get to the next level, you need that lesson to move to the next level. And a lot of us miss that lesson, and we keep doing the same thing, bumping our heads, bumping our heads, bumping our heads, and not learning, and we keep repeating the same problem over and over again.
Yeah, that's very true, and playing victim doesn't really help the situation, and unfortunately, we most of us anyway fall back into that victim mode because we think
Mm-hmm.
life is happening to us, because
Mm-hmm.
why is this happened, what, and we're questioning all the time why
Mm-hmm.
things are happening, rather than looking at solutions to those problems.
And we question ourselves, and even being in business. We got to do a lot of soul searching and understand that everything's not going to go the way you want to go. I'm a believer. God is a big part of my life. And one of the scriptures that I follow is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Do not lean on your understanding. Trust in God in all your heart, and he'll straighten out your crooked path. You got to lean in his understanding. It's so much bigger than ours. We can't even phantom the understanding. There's nothing so things are going to happen that you're not going to get, but it's going the way it's supposed to go. But just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not right. And when you release and just let the universe do its job, you know your beginning, you know where you want to end. That middle, you got to let it be flex. You got to be flexible with that middle, because it's going to take you through twists and turns that you're not going to understand at the time. But when you get to the other side, you go, oh, now I see why I wasn't allowed to get that deal, or I wasn't allowed to get that loan, or I wasn't allowed to borrow money from this person. You think of it as being, like you said, being done to you because you didn't get that loan. But guess what? The universe and God saw what was going to happen if you signed that paper. It was seen already. You got blocked from that because there was something else down the line that was much better for you. A better situation that you probably didn't even have to owe no money. Maybe money was going to be given to you to do it instead of you having a loan with interest. So a lot of times we got to understand that you got to let the middle work its magic and let it do its thing and stop trying to get into fear, because we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot a lot when we get in the way of what the divine order is supposed to go.
Yeah, a lot of us, business, personal wise, we often live in a state of fear. Even though we don't know it, fear of the unknown is a human trait, I guess. And I think we have to sort of let that go and just be a bit like me and be optimistic. If it doesn't work out, there's a reason for it, and there's always something bigger and better around the corner. And that's how I live my life. I often don't make plans for anything. I just go with the flow, because I think, well, if I make a plan, it doesn't go right, then I'll be disappointed. But if I just go with the flow and if I'm going on holiday and just go where my heart desires, then I have a much better time.
Right. And it's not a failure. I had to learn that failure is not really a word. That's a word that was given. I don't know who made this word up. Failure is when you don't do nothing. That's a failure. When you don't try or do anything, you're a failure. But when you try to do something and it don't go the way you like it to go, but it went some way, you learn from it and you do it again another way. Now you know that's not the way to go. Now you need to go to Sycamore instead of going down M Street, right? So when you don't move and get into that state of fear and get in that frozen state that you're scared to make a decision, that's a failure, because you're not even giving yourself opportunity to grow. You're not giving you a chance, an opportunity to see where you could go with this, because you're scared. Scared of what? Fear is in your head. What's fear? Okay, just do it. What's the problem? Because you're worrying about what other people are going to say to you. You're going to be worrying about other people going to say about you or what they're going to say about the situation. Only reason why we're scared, because we're not scared of ourselves, because if nobody was looking, you know how many things people have been doing if nobody knew and nobody was looking? We are scared because we are scared what other people are going to say about us. That's the only reason why we're scared. So if you remove that element out and don't care what people think or say, do you know how far you'll be in life? All the successful people in our world today, all the Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, the Eli Musk, all those people, Warren Buffett, all these people that we know like a household name, people thought they were crazy. Every single one of them thought they was off their rocker, the things that they wanted to do, because they couldn't see past their selves to see that the innovation of what they were doing. So what they did, they don't care what you thought. They went ahead and did it anyway. And they bumped their heads, they made mistakes, and they kind of had to maneuver and navigate. But look where they at now, because they didn't care what you thought, because they had a passion and purpose to do what they had to do. That driven purpose was there. That purpose will move that fear, because you're not worrying about other people going to say to you. And I had to learn this myself, because I used to be one who worried about what other people thought or said and think about me. And that stumped me, my growth. And, now it's kind of like, I'm like, whoo, It's out there now because I don't care, because I know the end result. That's their insecurities. They put their insecurities on you because they can't see it. They don't see how you can see it. And they load all that on you, and you took it and you carried it like a backpack on your back. You carried their insecurities and stopped you from growing. That's amazing how I done that for years.
Yeah, all guilty, guilty as charged, because I often have this plan in my head, and I think I'm going to make something, and my husband often says to me, "Well, that's not going to work." And I thought, well, how do you know it's not going to work? Just because it's not done your way doesn't mean that it's not going to achieve the end result that I want. And usually it does. It's usually the long way around, but I get what I want in the end. I achieve the result that I want in the end. And it doesn't matter how I get there. It's the journey that is important, I think.
The journey is the beautiful part. The journey is the best part about it, because you learn, if you're open to receive and understand that the journey matters and understand to trust the process, you will be able to learn so much more, because you're looking for it, learning. You're looking for it because you understand where this is going. Okay, I'm going to take this chance. I'm going to do this. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to learn through this process. It's going to make me a better person. I'm open to receive whatever comes my way. That's different than being in fear. And like you were saying, your example about your husband, and like many people in this world, they don't do it by malice. They're not doing it because they don't want you to succeed. They're doing it because that's what they know. They only could give you what they know. People only could give you, and I think we get disappointed, and that's another thing. We put too much into humans. We put too much into them. They're only able to give us what they're able to give us. That's not our job to sit here and if they don't give us what we want, we supposed to get upset. No. We just got to keep focused and go down our path and do what we got to do, and just love them, and tell them. And when they see what happens, they'll see it, and they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't think that was possible." I knew you didn't think that, but I knew it, so I continue to go ahead and do what I had to do, and you will see at the end. We don't need to worry about trying to prove stuff to people. That's not there. That's not what we're here for. That takes energy from you. If you're trying to drive down the street and you go weaving and wobbling out inside of different lanes because you're too busy worrying about everybody else, you're going to use more gas, more time, and you're going to get in an accident. But if you just focus on what you got to do and let them see you get down to the end of the street and you make it, then it'll answer all those questions. You don't have to answer them right now.
No, that's right.
I think we spend more time doing stuff we don't need to do.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, I guess as business owners, if we worry less about what other people thought of us, I think maybe we might have more successful businesses. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's not a think. I know we would be, because we'll stay in our lane. We will not. Okay, my thing about competition, I don't think it's called competition. Those are insecure people that brought these words into our vocabulary, to be honest with you. There's billions of people in this world, billions. I'm talking to you in another whole nother country, right? We talking real time together. You do not have that excuse anymore. You're not selling locally. You're not selling just right around your block or your town, your city, even your country no more. There's enough for everyone. There's not like you got to be selfish and not share your ideas and not collaborate with different people and people in your market and people in your industry. Those are the reasons why people want to engage with you, because they see that she's nice. She likes to help. Oprah had said, I'm going to paraphrase this. She had said one time, the best leader is someone who shares their ideas and work with people, collab with people. That's a leader. When you're so scared to share because you don't want nobody to take your idea, you scared somebody gonna take your business from you, and you can't tell them, because that means you're insecure and you're not good for what you do. Because if you're good at what you do, you wouldn't worry about what other people are going to do, because they can't be you. We all each other. That's the beauty. We all have something to offer this world. There's nothing I could offer. You have things that I never would have, and vice versa, because you're Rose and I'm ReGina. And guess what? If we collab together, we could make something beautiful, right? Because I could bring something to the table that you're weak and I'm strong, and vice versa. if we think more on that level, we'll get way more done. But when we get stingy and sneaky and don't want to help people, because we think we're gonna fall, or we're gonna give you something that there's billions of people here, people, billions. There's enough people for everyone to be successful in abundance. It's enough. I think that's one of the issues we are, especially, in this world, we are instant gratification people. We are microwave people now. We are about ourselves. We kind of on the selfish tip. We got to really think about it. The way this world was made, it was because of collaborations. Walls were built, highways were built, airlines were built, all that. It wasn't just one person. It was a bunch of people that got together and said, I have an idea and it's gonna make our world better. You want to help me? Sure. And
Absolutely.
they made it happen. And that's how we've made this world. So where we come to a point that we're gonna just do it by ourselves because I'm scared you're gonna take my idea. How can I take your idea? Even if I did take your idea, it came from here. So let's say you did take my idea. I can reinvent it. It came from here. You can't take my brain. So take it. I'll just do something else.
That's it. Yeah, there's too much, too many people competing against each other when they should be collaborating. I think the world would be a lot better place.
It'll be a way better place when we realize that it's enough for everyone and you don't have to do that. And at the end of the day, the way the universe works, it always kicks you back in the butt. It gets you every time. I always, it's always funny, Rose. I think about people who rob banks. Over the centuries of people robbing banks, back to Bonnie and Clyde, back to the 20s, they all got caught. Why do you feel that you're going to be the one that don't get caught? I don't understand how you do something when it's been proven time and time again that you're not going to be able to beat the system. Why do people consistently do the same thing over and over again, knowing the end result?
They're trying to invent the perfect crime, and there is no such thing as a perfect crime.
The universe will always get you. I'm telling you, a boomerang effect. It always happens. If you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing, whatever you do in the dark, we're going to show in the light, right? Even when you deal with business, a lot of people just be sneaky under the table, trying to get away with stuff, doing things they're not supposed to do. But it always comes, even if it comes to like 20 years from now, but it always shows itself. Just because it don't show the next week doesn't mean you're scot-free. It's going to come up eventually. You know how you hear stories on the news all the time. 20, 30 years later, they think they're doing something else, a whole other life, and then they get charged with something they did 30 years ago because they thought it went away. It doesn't go away. You got to do your business up and up. You got to be honest. You got to have loyalty. You got to have integrity. You got to have ethics. You can't just do business anyway and think that it's not going to come back and get you. It's going to bite you in the butt every single time.
Absolutely. Yes, I totally agree with that. Karma is a big thing in my life.
It is. I live by that. I've always been like that since I was a teenager, since I was a kid. Like I never got in trouble. I never went and did things. I was always the one like, well, you scared. I sure am scared. I'm not going to get in trouble for you. I always been that kind of person because I always knew that it doesn't pay. It doesn't pay.
No, it doesn't pay to be dishonest. Certainly doesn't. I guess I'd like to learn a bit more about your podcast, ReGina.
Sure. Well, Let's Talk 1943 is a podcast / talk show that we empower, uplift, and motivate our audience. We have different experts that come on about different facets of topics, from relationships to health to insurance to friendships to corporate world. I mean, name it, we had it. And what we do is just bring this different people on to talk about different things, and we are engaged with our audience. We learn. I'm learning. I'm literally writing notes as we talking to these people because I'm like, I brought this up because I needed to learn this. So y'all gonna learn with me. And the beauty of my show is it's there for all of us. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. I'll tell you in a minute. If I was like, oh my gosh, all these years I was doing this and that, I didn't realize I was doing that wrong. Oh, I gotta change that. When we talk about things, because it's just like we're here together. Like, take the journey with me. Let's be enlightened together. Let's be awakened together. I've been awoke. I woke up 2.5 years ago. And, when you awaken, you want to share with the world. You want everybody to feel that feeling that you have, that you realize like the matrix is over. Like, you were living in the matrix and finally you're up and now you see what you actually live in. You go, what in the world is happening? What in the world? You start seeing people different. You see people that you thought was one way is really another, like the masks are taking off. I just wanted people to really experience that. And that's why this show does that, because we bring stuff to the table and go, listen, this is my model. I'm going to give you some information. You take what you need to take out of it and the rest of it, leave it. I'm not trying to stuff it down your throat. I'm not trying to change you, but I just want to put seeds in you. So hopefully one day they will grow. But take what you need out of this for right now. And then later on, if you need to come back and get more, you always can watch it again. But I definitely want to open people's minds, and I want them to see, like, receive new things. And that's why I always say, wringing out your sponge. Gotta wring it out. After so many years of doing something over again, and you're not getting the same result, the result you want, you got to wring that sponge out, because there's something going on in there that's not allowing you to move on to the next level. So that's what we do. Every other week, we wring out those sponges.
Good. I might have to go and have a bit of a listen to that. I think it sounds really interesting.
Oh yeah, we have a good time.
Good. ReGina, tell me and our listeners, where can people find you if they'd like to work with you or find out a bit more about, what you have to offer?
Sure. Well, I am an author. I am a talk show host, like I said, podcast host, and as well as a motivational speaker. I speak at different events. I speak virtually, and you can find me on my website. It's letstalk1943.com, or any of the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and it all is Let's Talk 1943. Make it very simple across the board.
Absolutely. ReGina, have you got any last words of wisdom that you'd like to impart to our audience today?
Trust the process. Trust the process. You're not going to know everything, but the worst thing you could do is not do nothing. Go out there and make it happen. Know your beginning, know your end, and let the middle work itself out.
Absolutely brilliant advice. ReGina, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so much for joining me and taking time out of your day. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And I appreciate you letting me come on your platform. I enjoyed.
Good. Talk to you soon.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the Experts.